So, you can see me. Sorry, lost power in my vehicle again. The cops just disabled my vehicle electronically. This is what they do. They shut down my car and then they rape me. And I just showed a couple of people this and I can't find it, of course. And I was looking for it. Of course I can't find it. But I was trying to find the piece of paper down. And then here it is. I'm not on my period, but this is me being raped electronically. And that's my blood. And they've been raping me electronically for like 7 years. Nobody cares. They tell you, everybody, you're a pedophile so that nobody gives you any help. But for 7 years, they've been raping me electronically. And it just feels like you're in a massage chair. Not that somebody feels like they're in you, but they know they can do things more than what they do. And they have done it. But somebody came along and had some mercy. But they won't stop touching me, even when I'm driving, even when I'm eating. It's horrible. And I've been to the cops. I called the cops 250 times. They don't do anything. So that's why I became a glamper. And there was no pedophilia. Three incidents that I told them. I said, look, one girl, she put my hand down her pants when I was 6. Came in to get a glass of water. They were sex grooming, like a whole bunch of girls. There were 8 girls on the steps, 2 by 2, and the older girls were putting their hands into. And so she put her hand down. She put her hand to take my hand to put it down her. One incident, and this girl was beating me up, and she just, I said, "What you beat me up for?" So this is like her third time beating me up, and she took my hand. She was gonna put it down, and I was like about 10. I was like, I just started cussing. I cussed my way across the street. I was so angry, and I don't think she knew that I was leaving. She just was like, "Oh, whatever." And then I was attacked by a man, and he helped me, with his hands over my mouth. And now there's like and he ate my pussy when I was like 8. So, and he kept eating it. So, because he told me he's going to kill my mom, but my mom, she didn't have a lot of defense mechanisms. So, what she do? She brought me back down to him after beating my ass and slapping me in the face. And then he told her, "I'm gonna fucking kill y'all both, you bitches." He wasn't concerned about it at all. Okay, so I understand the coldness of that, and then I felt like somebody was touching me beyond the people when I was a girl. Because when I went to like a cousin's house, I felt like somebody was touching me, and when they touched me, I it was like something went like I could feel something happening in my lower region, just like I feel it now. Only it's stronger now. And so I said, "Oh my god." And I was tired and I was trying to see a baby Ben, but the baby Ben was like a tall baby hamper Ben, and seeing the baby, and then this touch came and I backed away from the crib. Not that I was going to do anything to the baby, but I just felt like something was happening, and I backed away and I looked around, and there was no place to sleep. There's no place. It was like a big room, and it was so weird. It was glass windows. So it's not like I don't know that people can't see in when light is in a window. And I said, "What the hell? What is that?" And I went and laid down, and I had my first like touchy. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. By the time after that happened, I didn't really think about it or really consider like doing anything like that. I didn't know what it was. So that was childhood, and I decided I didn't want to be a pervert. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I was already hurt by these men and by this group, and they were hurt by these people too, even if they couldn't admit it. So all of us were supposed to be groomed for sex. Later on in life, I found out they're porn stars. They know people in government, and there's a big conspiracy about that. That a lot of it I can't really talk about. So nope, because no one else is talking to me anyway. I'm being targeted right now. That same blood is there, you know, and it's always there. I'm like every time when I wake up, there's blood, and I'm not a bleeder, but that was enough blood, and you can tell like it dried. I showed it to the cops tonight, and he didn't have it on his camera outfit, and he was sitting in his car, so anything could happen. He had to put his vest back on, his camera back on. So I don't know what they were doing. I went up to them because I was around the backside of the building, glamping out because I have to deliver my car to get something in the morning so that I can leave this area and have a bigger space for the winter and be more comfortable. So that's it. I was going to be gone. My packages are due here and I was going to be gone. So this stuff happens, and it's just where they like, my car is, you know, is gone. So I said, okay, don't worry about it. And I went around and I talked to them. I said, stop doing this. Stop making me bleed. He just lit a whole big light in my face and he didn't do anything. Just like they were just like, oh, well. And this is why I don't like talking about it. I'm just saying, if I'm a nice person, but to push people like this 24/7, sleep deprive them, you know, it's crazy. But this is what they do. And for like 10, 20 years, they've done this. And then they try to punk me out of my house, put it into foreclosure, put it into bankruptcy, and just putting me on the brink. I was screaming. And these kids were calling me Muslim. I know I've been a Christian. I may not have been the best Christian, but I know lots of people believe in God. They still sin, go to jail, do all that. Because in the Old Testament, they believed in God and they still sinned and they still went to prison. You know, there's not a story where one person isn't a slave or a master or stealing land, or God tells them to go there and get the land, and they have to fight the people who already have the land. Just like Israel went into Palestine. I mean, just like the Israelis go into the Palestinian state and take the Gaza. Well, they feel like by the Bible God gave them that land, right? So that's where Jesus was, but they're taking it not because of themselves, they're taking it because of Jesus. And so they blame Christians, and we have this Christian thing where we connect with them in their guilt because the land wouldn't be theirs if they weren't the Israelites to us, right? So they're Israel and you get the land, but we feel the guilt because if it wasn't for our Christ and the fact that all our stations of the cross are there, we wouldn't be paying for it, right? We wouldn't be selling them weapons to protect us, right? So I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'm just saying there's a guilt relationship between the Abrahamic tie. The Muslim tie is that I don't know what they're doing over there, but they've had a long battle, and I don't want to get into that. I don't have anything to do with that. I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't care what your culture, creed, or anything like that is. However, if you're going to use it against me, you know, I hope that weapon doesn't form. But these weapons are formed against me. I had been bleeding. You know, I would sit at the table and I'd tell my parents I have a stomach ache because I was so embarrassed. I would prepare meals at the stove and the oven, and I would cook, you know, ribs for 2.5, 3 hours. I would cook and bake, and I would just constantly be attacked. And it's just horrible. It's horrible. I have had degrees. I've been attacked. I have 2 degrees, my bachelor's, my master's. I have worked during those degrees and been attacked. I know I'm a strong person, but this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they just do all this stuff, and they say it's because of this, like these school people. But I'm in my mid 50s going on. I didn't go to that school. I don't know those people. I could care less. When they mention stuff, it's just, oh, like they're yelling from a car. Like if you open your window, you might hear something that's, tonal. Other than that, they'd be like, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And I've screamed several times. It's happening to me now. I can't take forever to tell you about this, but I just wanted to say, you don't have to have mercy on me, but please just ignore me, because whoever is doing this, it's there. They have been sending around a video saying that in 19 something like the 1970s, that this was something that took place. If you use them 4K video, it ain't from the 1970s. Just a heads up. We had Pixels and the kangaroo, Captain Kangaroo, the new Zoo review, and I'm gonna tell you, it just doesn't look, the film and the pixels don't process the way they process today. So even if you had a black and white film, which we watched black and white and a little bit of color TV when I was a girl. So even if you had the color TV, you had color coming in, it still was a little bit, you still had to work on the films that they had before that were black and white into color. That's why I said there's something wrong if you're pulling around a video and saying you have a video. I don't care if you have a video. People can put faces, heads, any place. They can watch you sleeping, pose your body, do stuff to you, and people don't care. But you know what? I'm not asking you to care. I'm just asking you to let me live my life in private. I don't ask for a big chunk of everything. I sold my house, but it was taken by investors. If your house is taken by investors, you've been punked out of your house. And that's the way it is. Is it the way it is? I don't know. I have wanted to travel all this time since 2020. I didn't want to be in the house. I didn't want to carry a house note like that. All my bills I keep small, small, small. Not big like that. That was a big, like, how do you say it? Like a house that you would see and get punked by, because it has all the bells and whistles and stuff. But it basically is a house full of trapped dreams and nightmares. And there wasn't a day that they didn't make me scream out in pain. There was a time when I was passing gallstones, and they were just punching me in that area and all over my body and kicking me. I don't know how they did it electronically. Maybe it was the Havana syndrome. Maybe it was Spanish. Maybe it was Latinx. I don't know. I don't know. But it's definitely DOD specific. Okay? So there's nothing you could do about it. They say that some Muslim person said something, and I said, that's crazy. All you wanted to do was say, I worked at a place for a bit of time so that you could trade somebody out for a prisoner. How do you think Granier came back, the basketball player? They swapped out somebody, and they want blood. That's what they want. So if I'm the person they get, they're just going to kill me. So I can't be afraid of death, but I don't want to be punked out this whole time. That's the problem. And please do not, and I'm telling you right now, don't invite a man called Sandros La Sabra to your house. Don't invite R and S Top Remodeling to your house. Don't do it, because they look for houses and they look for people who live alone and who make a certain amount. Don't do it. Don't invite the Catholic Church if it's mostly Hispanics or Latinx and you're black. Don't stay in their groups. Now, most people already know that, but we're highly divided here in America, and the teenagers there were completely obliterated. And the first group, which my dad belonged to, and he was white Italian, after he died, they acted like they didn't know me. Who are you? Where did you come from? I've been driving my dad after his stroke to your group meetings almost every Saturday night when you have services. for the ecumenical community. They acted like they did not know me. I was so angry. I'm like, so for like a year or two, and I had seen them like previously when I went with my parents when my mom was alive before 2016. I'm not saying I'm memorable, but that was a joke. Plus, I was just like, are you kidding me? Really? So I said, that's the way people try to do you. And if some high school punk ass bitch feels like I did something to them, it's not that you're a high school punk ass bitch, but you can't be running to your parents saying just because somebody you don't like is in the neighborhood that you feel like you have to, beat them out of the neighborhood. You are going to burn in hell. I mean, I am serious. I'm telling you right now that you're going to burn in hell. You can't be doing Salem witch trials on people, you know? I'm not Joan of Arc. I didn't want to fight for that hard for America. It's not that I'm not a patriot, but damn, I'm getting my ass handed to me. And you know what I heard? This little thing. Oh, I don't think she fine. She cute enough to be in this neighborhood. She too fat to be here. When you can afford a $500,000 house and make decisions with money, then you can talk to your parents and have them take you a little bit more seriously. Having a car of your own doesn't, and living with your parents doesn't give you the right to ask them to hoe out your neighbors and punk them. It does not, okay? And if something happened in my childhood, that's my childhood, not your childhood. If you have a problem with my childhood, go to therapy. Go and get some talk therapy because I'm not your therapist. And if you have a problem financially, talk to a financial advisor or planner. I'm not that either. If you have a problem with the stock market, I'm not that person either. If you have a problem with your music and your acting and you don't like silly people, well, I had to be silly to get through this, okay? I'm trying to protect my life. I don't know how to get through this. Tell you the truth, I just don't know how. I just don't. And I unfortunately got involved with a group, and these people gave me a list of people. They came to my house. We sang Christian songs. There was a cantor. I cooked, 12-hour pork, belly. And this was me trying to champion against the failures of my life. And Sandra was there. This is the problem. You are not to surveillance people so closely that you can see where their birth canal is. Okay? You shouldn't be able to see my vagina. You shouldn't be able to do those things and hurt women. You should let people have privacy. Nobody's telling you something. Now I'm telling you. My side of the story. Now I'm telling you because I might find myself just feeling like I have to tell you. Not just because I feel like I'm being punked, but because all this stuff that comes out in the news media and in the not the news media, but all this stuff that comes out of the Hollywood is just, it's too relatable to my life. It's too relatable. It's the silly stuff, but it's too relatable. So I feel like I did not laugh at a funeral. I smiled at my coworker who I hired, who was Israeli, and I was the acting team lead. That's it. I smiled at him. I waved. That's it. And there was a funeral there for a friend before who had committed suicide. They took his body. It was a different part, but they took his body. This was a big room. We were in a smaller section room. They took his body and they just set it on fire in front of us and cremated it. I was so horrified because as Americans, as an American, a woman who is African American, I've only been to casketed funerals. I have not been to a box with a head bobbing around in it, stuck into a furnace, and that furnace is burning hot. I have never seen that. So I may have been like, oh my God, they can't do this again. Because, you see Darth Vader, right? He has his last ending and he's set on the pillar. He burns, right? And that's it, right? Right? And people are used to that. Pyro funerals, they are used to that in Pan Asian culture and in other kind of cultures where burial is too expensive and it's just considered respectful to burn the body and maybe take the ashes off the pyre, or I don't know how they do it, or they throw it into a river which pollutes the river, but that's how they consider it holy. They consider it holy, but this is what they do. And so I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but that shocked me because that was me at a younger age. That was almost like, I don't know, it's like 30 years ago, 22 years ago, right? So this is people saying they're mad about that. They're going back into my past, trying to find something to make me crazy. And they kind of just keep on talking 24/7 on their phone or whatever app it is, and you can't get away from it. So trying to call me the devil because I don't tolerate it well. I'm not that good of a Christian, but I try to espouse to something greater, and I just can't make the cut. So if I'm, arrested or if I'm sent to a hospital, plenty of other people have gone that route. I remember the girl in Baltimore. She didn't have no clothes on. They threw her out in 32-degree weather, half naked, her butt hanging out and everything, and she was just crying. And if you think she was not being sexually assaulted by the military and by GOG personnel and by whatever Muslim group or Catholic group, I hate to do a background check on her to see what church she went to, because even my sister's church, they will be doing it. Even though my sister works with kids, most of my elder cousins work with children and are school teachers. She's an assistant principal. I'm the least likely to be around kids, but I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to places. I have to be at rest stops, not to be in rest stops so I can have sex, but because it's cold, it gets wet, it gets dark. You want to be someplace where you can be, off the road. You don't necessarily have to fall asleep, but off the road. And I have an early morning appointment to get out of here. I can't, I'm hoping I can do it tonight. I'm hoping it'll be okay. But this has been horrible, okay? And it's been horrible because of nothingness. I sit here, I mind my own business. I don't want to know them. I don't want to talk to them. I'm estranged from my family, and I have a few contact points who are people who I used to know that I check in with just to let them know I'm alive and just to let them know that everything is going smoothly. Not that I need anything from them. I'm independently homeless, meaning I have the things I need, meaning I have an extra, I was putting on something on the back. So I have something there, and I'm not homeless. I have an address and I have a job. And the reason why I was putting something on the back is because I can unhitch it and I can go ahead and work a job doing deliveries and being a nice, considerate, adult. But this is the kind of stuff that fractures your life forever. And anybody who says, I just wanted you to suffer and suffer and suffer on their deathbed. I mean, they've been talking about my parents ever since they died. And I have their death certificates. I'm not privy to show them to you. I have my birth certificate for being an American. I watch a lot of British, well, mostly Irish TV and Irish Catholic TV from old shows, Father Ted, Bridget and Eamon. It's funny stuff. It makes fun of, Catholicism at its best, but these are considered the worst of, Catholic, dogma back then. And things have changed. So, it's self-deprecating, but it also um is basically the way it's definitely considered what I would call the things I used to watch with my parents, British TV, and everything like that. So, and Eurasian TV shows. So that's all. If It seems as if you have a problem, contact your doctor. Don't have me contact my doctor. And if I feel like I have to contact my doctor, yes, I have health insurance. Yes, those are things I have set up. My life is set up in such a way so that I don't have to worry about certain things. That's why I have insurance. I am not perfect, though. I am not perfect. And yes, I may come off as a little bit, angry or unapproachable, but I assure you, I smile, I laugh, I dance, I sing, and it's to get through this life. I pray, I read the Bible, and when I can't read the Bible, which is like what it is right now, because things are so whack, I listen to the Bible. So the Ascension put out Hollow. Hollow is an app with Father Schmitz, who is a very popular priest, and in the Catholic Church and the Archdiocese, and he does the app is good, and and right now, I'm able to read the Gospels or listen to somebody read the Gospel, and there's all sorts of ministries within the app. And I'm not pro Catholic exactly. I am a Catholic, but I'm saying some things aren't for everyone. That's true. But I think it should be inviting enough that even if I don't make it to the church, I like to have and be and be participate in some small way, because this is horrible what is happening. And I don't like the small group that's attacking me in the church, the ecumenical group. But if they come behind and say things, and teens say this, and people pitch a poop, it's very hard on me, because Lord knows I really, really, really love these people. But then it's just a stab in the back constantly with them. And I can't take it anymore. And so I'd rather be as private as I can, and tell you, you might be accepted. Don't worry about what happened to me. You might be accepted. I'm not actually trying to be against the Catholic Church, or be anti-Catholic, or be anti-Baptist, or anti-Methodist. But this is the way sometimes life looks like. And I'm not trying to be anti Muslim. It sometimes looks bad because people are being punked. They are putting people's lives and their monetary lives in jeopardy by punking them. And that is a criminal, insidious assault on people who really don't deserve it. It's just that's the way it is. And they'll say you have jail time coming, but then nobody arrests you. There's no jail because you haven't done anything wrong. There's freedom of speech and these things, but the horribleness comes from them. And believe me, if they're covering up something, it only makes it more apparent. So take it easy, breathe with me. Please support me if you can, um, and just by prayer. Don't want to ask anybody for any money, but allow me to just work the business that I have. And please, that's it. So that's it. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe them any money, and they are not my debtors. So that's, they're not anything, and they're really hurting me now. So I just think, leave it alone. Don't bother with it. And that's the way it is. But I'm personally, I'm not trying to share my victories or my losses personally. I'd rather try to be victorious in Jesus' name and keep moving on, no matter how much they make me suffer. Because there is a one saint, and she is black, and she was raped and beaten almost every day of her life. And they finally canonized her, and she came out of it, and she said the only thing she could do was smile and thank God. And she thanked God for her captors, because all of that anti Catholicism, all of that anti Christ things that they said is about the persecution of the church. And there's persecution that comes from within the church and outside the church. And and I hope that people understand that I don't want to be this type of person, but maybe I do and will just be in, in my see, they're even messing with my boob. It's just crazy. And these are my cousins too. They're men who are my cousins, older cousins. Some of these men and my cousins are like 90, and they're messing with my vagina. They're showing people how to do this. This are my cousins, and I tell you, they have been to birthday parties. I've been to birthday parties with them. I have been to reunions with them. They've invited me in, and they basically did everything they could these past 7 years to do everything they could to take my house and take my life, and it's horrible. So don't be with these people. Don't be with them. It's horrible what they're doing. It's criminal. And if you want justice to be served, if I really had done all of that, you're not saving anybody from anything. You could go ahead and have them they could do anything with this. It's just that these are the things that remind people that life isn't perfect. They don't want to hear the bad parts. I'm tired of talking about it. So at least I have the video. Now you know I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying. I have not had any type of incident like that because once that girl told me she tried to do that last time, I said, forget it. I'm not doing nothing with nobody. I walked away. I was cussing and I went into a fish restaurant to get her, just be away from her. And I was cussing all the way to the counter. And I discovered I had $10 in my pocket. So I could get a fish sandwich. It was the best fish sandwich you get in DC at the time. And my mom was there. So it was like an angel appearing right then and there. And I told her what happened. She said, well, you handled that really nicely. And that's why I said, my dad, when we got to the back door, I said, you said, well, where's your big sister? Where is she? Well, we got to the back door one day as my dad was about to leave, leave us back home in our a DC place because they hadn't married yet. They wanted us to spend the weekday there, you know, and have my mom give up an inexpensive apartment in case their relationship didn't work out. So we were at the back door, and I just started crying because I didn't want to go back there and be tortured in the old neighborhood. Now the neighborhood is it's grown up, it's matured, and it is beautiful. You wouldn't know, and they tore down that place where we used to live anyway. So I visited a couple of times to find healing and hope, but tear this down, which is hopeless. Tear this down, which creates all these things, and tear it down because all my cousins, my sister knew about all these rapes I was going through 7 years ago. I confronted my sister in like 2018 and I said, why is this happening? Because she was having so many intonations. She was having so many problems. She said she was being embarrassed. And I said, but I'm here. I've been screaming out, stop, 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 stop. And I was screaming, screaming, screaming. And she said, well, I was embarrassed because you crazy and all this stuff. And you letting people touch. I said, Denise, there's nobody who can fit in this car. Look at this car. Look at this car. Nobody. Nobody can fit in this car with me. This is the car. This is how much room from this seat. This is the headboard. And this is the wheel. That's it right here. This is the wheel. Nobody's going to fit in this part. And that's not being crazy if somebody's electronically surveillancing you. This happened to Carson. This happened, and they walk by you and yell stuff. This happened in 2014-13 interview with Chappelle on Oprah, where he knew Hollywood stars were doing that to people. Hollywood people were doing that to homeless. Street people were doing it to other people. So that's the problem right there. And if that sounds anti-Semitic, it's not. But you can't tell me that this there aren't ties to something greater, and this has got to stop. You know, all these people who have been killed, like all of a sudden, you know, all these people. Look at how they ruined Yee, and he was like, I can even say this about them. I was like, I'm not that kind of person. I don't think you can say anything about the Israelites and get away with it. I don't think you can go to a funeral and say you laughed heartily at the funeral. But do you realize these people are tall? You know, I'm 5'5", 5'6" at the most. I'm like 5'5 3/4" or something like that. You know, at the most, these people were taller than me. So laughing at a funeral, they wouldn't have tolerated that. You know, have you ever been to Israel? I had a family come to Israel, and Israel, let's put it this way, it was the Sabbath. They came up the wrong driveway because it's the Sabbath is taken very seriously. And they were even a Jewish family. The people came out, all the people came out and started rocking their car with their babies in it. They didn't care. And they started rocking the car and shouting at them. My friends were Israeli. You know, and they were screaming, screaming. And that's it. That's it. After that, you know, it's like, did he stop being Israeli? No. But he was like, that shook him up. Nobody wants to mess with Israel. Nobody. Not me. And I don't care where I've worked in the past and you felt like I didn't have the credentials I deserve to have. Well, I'm not working with you now. And I wouldn't turn back the table and work with you again unless there was something brilliant that happened, like this stopped. So there's no way. And an ordinary person would not take a job anyway back at the place where people were, trying to uh, punk them there. So there's nothing, there's nothing to do with them trying to be relatable. They knew at the workplace it was going on. They knew, and my sister knew way before anything happened to her, way before anything. And I heard that something happened, but that's a pumpkin too. I don't think anything happened, but they keep saying something happened to her. But we're estranged, and we've been estranged for at least 4 years now. So there's no way I would know about any of her punking or not. I know that I was concerned with her working with children. That is true. And I know I was concerned because my cousins work closely with children. And if we were punked to be sexual slaves to the government and soldiers or to anybody else, and we're in America, then any church out there can be punked and made into sexual slaves. And the only thing you can do is pray, 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 because this is, well, aside from all the things that are, that you have to do to survive, this is the harshest survival you can put a woman through. But all of these things are unfortunate. But I'm not affiliated with any of these people. I don't know them anymore. I haven't met them. And I can tell you right now, this is why there is an internal war and people are leaving the church. It's because somebody in my family feels as though they need to take revenge for something that happened to their daughter, but their daughter probably has repressed memories. And there isn't one of my cousins who hasn't been meddled with. So that's just feels like to me that if I didn't know about a hoe and that being down there at a certain age, and after that I knew about it, that says to me, and what I'm saying is, by the time I talked to somebody on the phone when I was 15. I was babysitting at my neighbor's house. This person called me up and they were like, "Why don't we masturbate?" And see, I didn't have words. I didn't have any words. And I'm serious. They were punking me and they said, "Why don't we masturbate?" And I said, "Okay, well, whatever." And they were like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." And I just went, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." I didn't masturbate because I didn't know what it was. That's crazy, right? Because kids don't speak when you're masturbating. If you want to know if you a pedophile, kids don't speak. Kids don't speak and they don't say nothing. Okay? They don't speak. Now I screamed when the guy was doing the stuff and I was praying and I peed on myself. I was praying, and I said, "Get off me, get off me." But he was strong. He was a fully grown man, older too. So there was nothing I could do about that. But that's how they punk you. They put people in who punk you like that. I don't know how many other people he was doing in the building. I don't know how many other people, because that's how they were trying to get a ring of girls to do stuff. But if somebody introduces America to a porn scene with kids, or if even if they switch it up, there is something wrong about that, because I'm in my mid 50s. That means they didn't do anything. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. All this stuff that happened to me and is happening to me now, they didn't do nothing. They didn't try to clean it up. They didn't try to make it better. They just punking and punking for the hell of it. Now I'm gonna tell you, you want a revenge on me because I didn't make good decisions between the age of 6 and 10, and you feel like I should have been able to rescue myself. Some people can rescue themselves, but it's kind of hard when the perps live in your apartment and wait for you to come down the steps. I'm telling you, it's not like when you just be like, I can bounce. I mean, they live over here, they bought me someplace else, but I'm a bounce and run out the door. That's different. But this is Elizabeth Smart. They were taking her someplace else she didn't know about, okay? And then this is the way they do it too now. They take you someplace else where they don't know you or you don't know the place. That's punking at its worst. So you shouldn't compare the two. Somebody leaving a girl there and her being able to walk out. This is different. I was grabbed. She was grabbed. She was grabbed and left alone. Even if you are left alone after they rape you and after you go tell your parents or something and they don't do anything, my mom slapped the shit out of me. And it's because she was introduced to something that triggered her. She wasn't going to hurt, she wasn't trying to hurt me. And I had to forgive that. But at the same time, a part of me just says, what were you expecting me to do? Because what if my mom couldn't handle it well and keep me safe? What were you expecting me to do? And so that's why I'm saying it's not evolved into anything creative, except that I just keep on moving on with my life, getting a smaller, mortgage, taking vacations, trying to do what I need to do to keep me and my, puppy happy. That's it. Small happiness, not big happiness. But this is weird. This is horrible. And on top of that, he I could feel the electronic pulses on his rear end. And I'm telling you, I don't want to have anything to do with the cops, a hospital, nothing. As long as you're not suicidal, as long as you're not perpetrating something, as long as you about the business of the day, which is your business, minding your own business, I don't want to have anything to do with these people. Nothing. I'm not trying to be against you or for you. I'm not trying to be up in this area either. I'm changing my mailbox as soon as I can get out of here. I am switching it up and closing down the other one. As a matter of fact, that's the way I feel about it, because I can do better by myself. I can do bad all by myself. And they followed me. When I went to Wyoming, Montana, they followed me on the radio with all these people. So, radio stars, TV stars, I'm hearing in my head. It's crazy. The church I'm hearing in my head, churches I used to go to. I'm like, this is crazy. You're not perfect, but why did you do this? Why did you let these people do this to me? But then I just realized that's just that's who they are. They're not going to change, and I'm not going to change. Being a good person is hard, but I'm not going to worry about it no more. If I see you want a punk, I don't care. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. And the game they play to see me get upset, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So, all the people I mentioned, my cousin, my sister, all these people, my dead parents, all these people, even the police, even all the people, you know, that's it. Don't hire these people unless it's a legitimate to for them to be there. Don't call them for something minor if you can fix it. Look on YouTube, try to find fix it videos, try to be self sufficient. And don't buy too much stuff because you don't want them to take that stuff either. I'm buying the cheapest stuff I can find. And yeah, the dollar store, that song, that's probably about me too. But it's probably about a lot of other people because I'm not the only one in line. You know what? That's fine. So don't worry about it. And there's probably a lot of people who probably have seen four weddings and a funeral, and they know there was a little grin, but people were really sad about that guy passing away because he has such a nice personality. I was asked to go as a duty, and I felt like Jeff was my friend. But that's it. I have no other feelings of ill will towards Israeli or Jews other than this pain point. If this could go away, that would be great. But I am not anti Semitic and I'm not psychotic. I'm not going to kill you. I'd rather go away, live in the woods, and leave you behind. That's the way I see it. So unless you want to be in the woods, don't bother me. Don't bother me. That's it. I don't want to hear from you. Yeah, I'm a nice person. I'll approach you nicely if you approach me nicely. I can do that. But this is crazy. It's crazy. So that's it. That's it. My tribulation, hopefully it'll end soon. Don't, don't, don't expect me to be. This is not about temptation in that way. It burns, it hurts. They're burning me. They're not, this is not the same. It hurts. And they do it after I take care of myself personally, if you winky wink know what I mean. So it seems like I wanted to do it with them. And then they try to slip into me. Don't don't do that. I be screaming, don't do that. And then of course I'm tired and I gotta go to sleep. So I wake up with somebody doing it to me. Just like Keisha Knight woke up and that guy had grabbed her and she was legs open and he had fallen asleep in her. So don't be, it's not that I want to be like that, but I cannot even see there's nobody here. And I feel it. Stop these people from doing, especially this Pan Asian invasion that we're going through, the African invasion of, religiosity. I don't want that. I'm open minded with these things, but not anymore. I don't really wanna I don't wanna I just don't want to. I want to be I don't even I just don't want it anymore. I just don't. This is too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.